This video is sponsored by Surfshark. Hello everybody, welcome to Mike's Mike. My name is Mike. Welcome to an MP4 file on the youtube.com website in which I will be discussing the second Twilight movie, otherwise known as Twilight New Moon. I have several a note here about my experience while watching the movie. I did do a video on the first Twilight movie, so if you haven't seen that, maybe go and watch that as well to get a little bit of context. He's like, oh my god, you smell like a bin. So my memory is famously terrible. And when I started this movie, I was like, I recall almost none of this movie. And I think that was a conditioned response. I've written down the particular timestamp of 58 seconds. That's when we see Ill Moon. And I like to think that nobody caught that. No one's going to call this Ill Moon.
Ew! What an interesting artifact.
The movie starts with a dream sequence, and she's running through a group of people wearing red coats. Now, I was getting Pretty Little Liars red coat flashbacks. Can we not talk about that? She gets to a field and there's an old lady there. She's like, who the fuck are you? It's actually Bella in the future. Aging. She's thinking about how her boyfriend, boy boss, Eddie, he is a vampire famously, and he doesn't age, but she does because she's a human flub. And while she's having this little age-related meltdown, has she not thought about the fact that she met him when she was 16 and he was 108? Something is weird here. Get a job, get a degree, get several degrees, get 10 plus degrees, double-digit degrees, get a PhD. Why are you in the high school? Get a job, stay away from her. I'm just thinking I'm missing the blue hues, because in the first Twilight movie, there was a blue filter over everything. I'm smacked in the face by the blue. And while it was grating to watch, I was feeling like the Skype emo emoji while I was watching the first Twilight movie. I was like, oh my god.
It's brutal out here.
We also see that Anna Kendrick is back in her titular role of friend. And Anna Kendrick, I do think she needs to answer for her crimes. I was thinking about the cup songification of 2013 the other day, and I posted it on my story, and it was just absolute carnage in the replies. Everyone's like, why would you do this to me? The grip that Anna Kendrick had on society in 2013, I don't think we talk about that enough. I literally have my tickets for the long way round, and I've got 2 bottles of whiskey for the way. And you know what? I sure would love some sweet company. Bella is in the one space that she spent 90% of her time in the first Twilight movie, the school car park. Boyfriend boy boss Eddie turns up in a Volvo. Now, it's not just like, it's a car, it's a Volvo, slay. And he gets out of the car and he's walking in slow-mo. Robert Pattinson, such a trooper. Who enters the frame but Jacob, who is ripped now. And Bella's like, rah, rah, and Edward's like, what you know about? No. At about 8 minutes into the movie, we get this quote. Bella, you give me everything just by breathing. See, no.
That pissed me off for real. Why do you act like that?
Like what?
The way that you act, you don't see how you act.
Kristen Stewart deserves a knighthood. Now, a bit of context, it is Bella's birthday. She's like, no, I hate birthdays. Ugh. And as she's walking through the school, everyone's like, happy birthday. She's like, no. Now, talk about plot devices. The girls are watching Romeo and Juliet, and it's just so topical for the rest of Ill Moon. They're not giving what they think they're giving, in a sense that they're sitting at the back of the class and they're both like, we're so in love. And they're watching Romeo and Juliet, and the teacher's like, fuck off. Eddie's like, oh, they're committing S-word, I'm jealous. And it's like,
can I get a cheeseburger?
Also, around this time, Edward says the Volturi as like a little like throwaway comment.
Provoke the Volturi.
What?
That's what you said. And you know what? What was that?
We'll get to the Volturi later. Twilight is anti-Italian. Before we continue, this is just an absolutely delicious opportunity for me to talk about today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by Surfshark. Surfshark is a VPN, a virtual private network available as an app and a browser extension that essentially lets you access content from anywhere in the world and also encrypts your data so you can browse securely online. And we absolutely love that. Surfshark has over 3,000 servers in 65 countries, so if you've ever run into the situation where you want to watch a movie but it's not available in your country, you can just switch and watch it. For example, since we're talking about Twilight New Moon in this video, if you wanted to watch that but it's not available on Netflix in your country, you could just switch your country on Surfshark to Australia and you'd be able to watch it. Another great feature of Surfshark is the Clean Web feature, which blocks ads, trackers, malware and phishing attempts, allowing you to browse the internet safely. Also, Surfshark doesn't monitor, track or store your browsing activity, which is why they're based in the British Virgin Islands. because there's no government mandate forcing them to store your data and share it. They even thought about that. Surfshark offers one account to use on an unlimited amount of devices, so if you have 10 iPhones, protect them all, bestie. Wanna give it a go? Use my code MIKESMIC, MIKESMIC, to get 83% off plus 3 extra months for free. Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk for you to try it out for yourself. Make sure you check out the link in the description and don't forget to use my code. Thank you, Surfshark, for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to it. Here's some more delicious quotes for you. The only one that can hurt me is you. And Bella says, I could protect you. She's speaking in Wattpad. So remember, famously, it's Bella's birthday that she doesn't want. And Eddie's like, let's go see the fam. By his family, we're of course referring to the people which live together and act like a family unit, but there's actually 3 couples inside that group. When Bella sees the family, we soon realise that Rosalie is still a Bella auntie. Next thing you know, Bella gets a Z-Feet Troye Sivan, yes, a paper cut. And Jasper is looking at her like she is just a meal, right? She is a snackle, she is a snack between meals, and he sees that blood and he's like, so fucking delicious. So in my notes, I'm talking about how at this point Bella gets stitched up by Dr. Zadie Carlisle, but I've also written in all caps, music slaps in these movies, and this is a very crucial point. I would like you all to pay attention. Put your snacks down. You can hate on the Twilight movies as much as you like. You can make fun of the cringy Wattpad dialogue, but the music choices in these movies are top tier. Anyway, so after the blood incident, they're back at school, and Eddie's not at school, and Bella's just like, FML. And here's the drama. Eddie's like, Bella, we have to leave. And by we, I mean me and my fake family. They're having this little heated conversation in the woods, and he's basically saying that like, you don't belong in my world. And she's like, you don't want me. And he's like, nope. And then he runs off and they break up. And he just leaves her in the middle of the woods. Like, could you not fucking pick her up and do a little through the woods, drop her off, and then break up? It's just weird. Because she's in the woods and they break up, she has an absolute meltdown and she's running around like, and then she faints in the woods and the shirtless man has to save her. This could have all been avoided if they broke up in a clearing, or at least on a road, just not in the woods. At this point, Bella is just absolutely going through it. Stacey girls, it is in fact going down. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's pump it up. Bella's all in the fetal position on the floor, like, I'm done, I'm tired, I suck at life, I don't want to round 3 because I suffered twice. And her dad is like, where the fuck is my daughter? And he's famously police chief, so he starts like this search party to find her. And they're all like, where the fuck's Bella? And then this man without a shirt on picks her up and takes her out. And Charlie's like, thanks, sir. But like, I'm lost for words, because it's like, if you're a police chief and a shirtless man comes out of the woods holding your daughter, are you just going to say thanks, bye? Like, are you not going to ask questions like, why are you first of all not wearing a shirt? Second of all, where did you find her? Now this next scene, it deserves several Oscars. It's the scene where Bella is like in the chair and she's #depressed, and the seasons are changing and she's sitting in the same chair, but the camera keeps going around and she's looking hell shitty. And I thought, it's kind of giving Lockdown. Like, that's kind of me. Also, at this point, Bella is screaming in her sleep, and I don't want to poke fun at people who scream in their sleep, because you do what you do on your journey. If I was in the same house as someone who was screaming in their sleep, I'd be like, can you fix that? So Bella soon works out that if she puts herself in danger, then she'll see Edward as like a vision in her mind not to do the dumb shit she's about to do. So she's like, slay, let me put myself in every situation that's dangerous possible. And like here in my notes, I've got that Jessica is just so over Bella. And I am too. 36 minutes into the movie, almost exactly to the second. Bella, where the hell have you been, Loca?
Bella, where the hell have you been, Loca?
Bella, and she's like, hi, sir. Where the hell have you been, Loca? I was fighting for my life while watching that scene. There's a scene where Jacob's showing Bella, Sam, and the other shirtless men jumping off a really high cliff, and he's like, they do it for a rush. And she's like, a rush, you say? Bella will remember that for later. And since Bella is in her risky adrenaline rush era, she decides, I would like to become a motorbike girly. I would say it's kind of her like motorbike, no helmet hallucination era. I was suffering. Bella is like driving her motorbike without a helmet on. She hits her head. She's bleeding, right? Jacob goes up to her. He's like, you're bleeding, Bella. Where the hell have you been, Loga? And instead of just like ripping the sleeve off the shirt, he's like, ow. And she's like, you're sort of beautiful. The what patification? Stephanie Meyer. Stephanie Meyer, end of sentence. I wrote something controversial down. I said, Bella is now in her Jacob era, and I gotta say, undead grandpa outsold. So I think that means I'm team Edward. Blah, blah, blah. Mike and Jacob have an argument at the theater. Jacob's all like warm, and Bella's like, bro, you're so hot, as in temperature. And he like runs off.
Oh, now we gotta go?
And then his family are like, oh, he has mono. He's sick. I can't come out. I'm sick. So Bella's like, T, wig, let me go find him and see him because he's ignoring all my calls. Bitch, you're ignoring my calls. Pay for my college tuition, sis. I'm in my 4th year of medical school in London, going to be saving a bitch life. Anyway, so she goes to Casa Jacob to find him, and he has cut his hair. Everybody screamed. Everybody screamed. He cut his hair, and he's running around without a shirt on in the rain because why would anyone in this town have an umbrella? I have not seen a single umbrella this movie thus far, and I've seen many droplets of rain. As a viewer, I am in fact fighting for my life at this point, and Bella and Jacob have a little conversation in the rain. And here's a quote from that conversation. Jacob says, I used to be a good kid, not anymore. So I would say this is kind of his Rihanna good girl gone bad era. I saw a TikTok about the concept of having an offline boyfriend. I think Bella needs an offline boyfriend. Do I go with undead grandpa or do I go with underage wolf boy? Why don't you just get a normal boyfriend? A few scenes later, Bella is looking for the field. I got whiplash. I was like, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. It was crazy. Because, you know, she's looking for the field, and then Laurent's there, and then there's these big wolves there, and she's like, ugh, I'm gonna die. Edward's telling me to say that the Cullens are in town so Laurent doesn't kill me because he's on commission from Victoria. But the wolves are like, slay. Let's save Bella. How many times is this girlie going to be saved? Why is she always in near-death like situations? Does Bella have health insurance? 3 points at this point in the movie. This man lives without a shirt now. The stopping with the abs. There's a bit where they're having a conversation and Bella stops Jacob by like punching his abs. Like, she's like, stop. And she's like, now hold on. Let's not talk about it. Third thing, the emails. So Bella's writing these deranged emails to Alice. They're not going through, or maybe they are going through and Alice is just like, I'm not fucking with that bad energy. I rebuke the bad energy from these emails. And she's basically updating Alice on her life. She's like, I'm gonna S-word if I can't see Edward again. Also, Jacob's like a werewolf. And can you imagine if Alice like read these emails a few years later after like Bella and Edward ended up together and after all the shit that goes on, she's just like,
Can I get a cheeseburger?
So what the fuck was this? Bella slaps one of the shirtless men and he turns into a werewolf. So that's fun. And Jacob has to also turn into a werewolf to stop the other one she slapped from K-wording her. So that's fun too. And look, I'm going to give you whiplash because after talking that much shit about them randomly turning into wolves, I'm going to say the CGI in this movie is good. It's really good. It's better than I expected. When they turn into wolves, I'm like, some more excellent dialogue for the girls. So you're a werewolf. Yeah, I actually wrote down at 1 hour 17 minutes, this movie is really good. I'm going to read this bit verbatim from my notes because that's the only way that I can make sense of this sequence of events. Victoria is back and Jacob is hunting her. Bella is like, I know where I need to go to see Edward again. Obviously, she means she has to jump off a cliff, while Victoria is famously hunting her. Bella is a clown. Girl, get out of the ocean. And I think I spilled when I wrote that. Get the fuck out of the ocean. She tells Jacob that like Victoria is hunting her and he's like, oh, slay, stay home and we'll take care of you. And she's like, you know what? No, I'm gonna fucking jump in the ocean so I can see Eddie under the water. And also, I might drown. You know who else is in the fucking ocean? Victoria, because vampires love to swim. So she's drowning and then Jacob saves her. And I'm just thinking, sir, I hate this for you. Now Alice is back. Thank God. Clearly she did not read the emails because if she did, she wouldn't have come back. And basically Alice is talking to Bella and she's like, girl, cut the shit, right? You're flopping mentally. Here are some delightful quotes that we get. This one is from Bella to Alice. Jacob's kind of a werewolf. Slay. Second one, from Jacob to Alice. Don't make me upset or things are gonna get very ugly. Another tumultuous, difficult scene for me as a Twilight enjoyer. They nearly kiss again, and the phone rings. It's Eddie. Jacob answers. He says Charlie is arranging a funeral because famously Harry had a heart attack and died. D-worded, sorry advertisers. Someone D-worded in the forest, and Bella's like, where's my boyfriend? So yeah, Jacob says that Charlie is arranging a funeral, and Edward thinks that Charlie is arranging Bella's funeral. This is infuriating. And this is where we get some more Romeo and Julietification of Twilight New Moon. Now that he thinks that Bella has D-worded, he wants to S-word. So he's like, okay, slay, let me go to the Volturi, the famously anti-Italian propaganda part of the plot line. So he goes to Italy, and Alice is like, Eddie thinks you're dead, babe. So then Alice and, what's her name? Bella, not me forgetting the fucking main character's name. Anyway, they're in Italy now, and I got whiplash again. And you know, I love Italy, I love Italian discourse. The Volturi, however, no. Jane, yes. Something that I forgot to mention before is that if the Volturi find out that a vampire has revealed themselves to the humans as a vampire, then they will K-word said vampire. So Edward's like, I want a D-word. I'm going to do some reckless shit so that I can D-word because you can K-word me. Look at this sentence, please. Anyway, he goes to the Volturi and he's like, can you please dispose of me? Personally, as a person, as a vampire. And they're like, no, we're not going to do that. You're too iconic. Slay. So Eddie has decided he's going to do a little public indecency, as in get naked in public. So then he's shiny like a diamond Rihanna. And then the humans will be like, oh shit, what the fuck is that? So with his new plan, Edward's like outside striptease music, taking off his clothes, and all the red like girlies are around, famously wearing the red stuff, red coat, Pretty Little Liars. And Bella sees him take off the shit. She's like, no, stop it. And at this point I'm thinking, so are you not a vampire? Do you not have these like ridiculous over-the-top senses that allow you to like see and hear shit that other people don't see and hear until it's like right in front of them? Are you telling me that he doesn't sense Bella? He's always talking about like, this blood's so fucking delicious. I can smell this blood from fucking kilometers away. And she's like 10 meters away and he's like, I'm oblivious. He has AirPods in. Time for another quote. I just couldn't live in a world where you didn't exist. I felt ill. So Bella pushes Eddie out of the sunlight and stops his little striptease, right? And they're back in the building of the Volturi. And the Volturi are like, Slay, we need you to come see Arrow or something. And they're like, not gonna do that, babe. And then they get Jane. And Jane comes down. She's like, yeah, the fuck you are gonna go see Arrow. Now Jane did in fact eat up every single other member of the Volturi and every vampire at that. You know how there are some like pop stars who basically live in the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100? That's Jane. Jane is like the Weekend of the vampires. I just talk absolute shit on this channel. Just absolute genuine shit. So Jane takes them to an elevator. Actually, they should be jumping in the elevator now that I think about it. Hashtag jumping in the elevator. Excellent podcast, excellent podcast. Anyway, they're in the elevator and I'm just thinking, where the fuck are you going? Are you going up or are you going down? Because you are at ground floor level. You get in the elevator, you get out of the elevator and you enter this like space that has sunlight. And it's kind of implying ground floor. So I'm like, where the fuck did the elevator go? Sideways? I just don't understand the architecture of the Volturi building. And you know what? That adds to the anti-Italian propaganda. So Bella meets Mr. Sir in charge of the Volturi, Arrow, or whatever the fuck. And he's like, hi bold, let me read your thoughts. But he sees nothing. And that's not because she has zero thoughts, head empty, which may be the case. It's because she has a fortress. She has a fucking fortress around that cranium of hers. And Arrow's like, wig in Spanish, I reckon, why don't we get all of us to try our powers on you and see what happens? And Jane, who famously is the most iconic vampire ever, her thing is she can make people feel what she wants them to feel. So she looks at Edwin, she's like, pain. He's like, and she looks at Bella, crickets. If I had that power, I would just walk around and be like, I want you to feel the feeling of listening to ASAP by Stacey. So then it gets very dramatic. Very, very, very dramatic, because Arrow's like, now Bella knows too much. She literally knows about a little secret society that we're running here, so we have to get rid of her. So we get a little fight scene between Edward and Felix, and I'm thinking, I wish there was more Edward in this movie, because he's absolutely slaying the house right now, truly. And Felix is about to kill Edward, and Bella is like, why don't you just K-word me? Wouldn't that be more fun, more aesthetic, more vibes? So Felix is about to K-word Bella, and then Alice stops everyone from K-wording Bella, and she's like, I've actually seen in my little That's So Raven visions that I have that Bella will be one of us in the future. Scream, collapse. So Ara's like, okay, great, fantastic. So we won't K-word Bella, but you have to turn her into a vampire. They leave. So I guess at this point, Bella and Edward are back together, but I don't know if I care. I think I want more Volturi. Like, I want more Jane scenes. I feel like Wendy Williams. Do we care that Edward and Bella are back together? Clap if you care. No? Nobody? Alice said Bella will change into a vampire. Eddie says that she doesn't need to because they can hide her from the Volturi. She's like, no, bestie babe, I want to be a vampire. This is just optimum for Bella. She's been like wanting to be a vampire since day dot. Let's not pretend that she hasn't, right? And now the perfect opportunity's come up that the basically vampire government needs her to turn into a vampire, and Edward's like, nah. She's like, bitch, yes, the fuck? So they go to the Cullen house and they do a vote for vampirification. We're kind of at the end of the movie now, and I do think it's RIP to the plot, because this scene followed by the weird conversation that Bella and Edward have in the car, followed by them just driving down the road, and then there's Jacob standing there shirtless. I was suffering. So they have a conversation, and Jacob's like, Bella, flop, don't turn into a vampire. What the fuck are you doing? And she's once again emo Skype emoji. And the cliffhanger of this movie, Edward's like, I'll let you turn into a vampire if... Dun, 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 dun. Bruno Mars appears out of nowhere. I think you want to marry me. He asks her to marry him, and she's like, boom, cut movie. They aren't even out of school yet. He's already like, marry me. I guess he is 108. So my thoughts on this movie compared to the first one, I do think that the first one's blue filter kind of made it, you know, for that movie. This one, there are parts of it that I actually enjoyed, and I liked the music, but the plot, we were fighting for our lives while watching this. I think this is one of the worst, if not the worst, reviewed movie in the franchise, like the lowest score. I think I had like 28% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I get it, but I still enjoyed it. Thank you all for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like. If you got something to say, leave me a comment. If you're not subscribed already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Slay Boots, The House Charlie, truly. And I'll talk to you all soon. I got my ticket for the long way around, 2 bottles of whiskey for the way. Peace out. Bye. Welcome to the end screen. Here you will find another video for you to watch and a link to easily subscribe to my channel. So make sure you subscribe to my channel.